Well, after watching the news this week, it's clear that Donald Trump wants to start declaring martial law in the city of Minneapolis. That's clear. And he doesn't give a shit about international law at all. He doesn't see why Greenland wants to stay with Denmark one bit. Of course he doesn't. I mean, why would he? He's a narcissistic freak, and he's power hungry and greedy. He doesn't give a shit about anything, especially, least of all, us, our own citizens. America first, my ass. I mean, it's clearly him and his friends first. Let's be real. I mean, he sends the Gestapo to Minneapolis to execute Renee Good in the street live in front of everybody. And a lot of these MAGA hogs are still talking about how, oh, no, she deserved it. She deserved it. It's okay. It's okay. See, this angle definitely shows holding up a video, sending me videos holding up literal murder, state-sanctioned murder. Okay. And then this week is no better, arresting teenagers straight off the street. Some being arrested, some being detained so they can arrest their parents. You'll see in one video that I attached into this compilation. But yeah, and then we'll see Caroline Leavitt, the biggest bootlicking dog for the Trump regime, their whole spokesperson, their mouthpiece, come out and argue and accuse several analysts or whoever, reporters, of being biased when herself is showing the most bias ever. I mean, what? You see state-sanctioned violence is okay. She watched literal videos of Donald Trump raping little girls and said, We're Gucci. We're Gucci. Her and Kristi Noem are okay with this. They're okay with this. In fact, they say it never happened. They didn't actually watch that. They watched him, do something else, I guess. Who knows? Who knows what they tell themselves? Anyway, I've got a whole compilation of stuff to show you. And it's all insane. I mean, it's all state-sanctioned violence. I mean, and I can't wait for all the people to tell me why this is okay. This is actually okay, and my gripes are unfounded. I'm just whining. Oh yeah, I should be okay with it. I had one guy call me and try to tell me, oh no, that's not the Gestapo because they haven't come to your house. Oh, they haven't come to my house? They haven't come to my house yet? Okay. Guess I'm wrong. Guess this isn't exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. Guess I'm wrong. What? No. Also, this clearly isn't about fraud anymore. You see how none of these MAGA hogs that voted for him are complaining about the fraud? It's because they know that's BS. They don't care. They don't care about that. They just like seeing state-sanctioned violence and knowing that, and being under the boot. They like it. They like to be crushed under it and licking the bottom of it. They just love it. And it's these same people that cry about taking their guns. Obama wasn't going to take your guns. He didn't. You still have them. And now you're watching an actual tyrannical government run you over and all your rights. And you're good. You're good. You like it. What is going on? There's something wrong with your brain. You are mentally deficient. Something is wrong with you severely. But anyway, oh my God, I've got so much to show you.
Thank you, Caroline. Two questions. First, a follow-up on one of my colleagues who asked you about the president's interview with Reuters. You said that he was joking about canceling the elections, but Americans for generations have fought and died for democracy, for this democracy. Are you saying that the president finds the idea of canceling elections funny?
Andrew, were you in the room? No, you weren't. I was in the room. I heard the conversation, and only someone like you would take that so seriously and pose it as a question in that way.
Of course she would just go straight on the attack like that. Why wouldn't she? These people are animals, and they just don't care that they show any bias to their party at all. She will defend Donald and his pedophile protection agency because it pays her.
What you just saw was a federal immigration agent pushing an unidentified protester into oncoming traffic after appearing to block their vehicle.
They just fired off a tear gas canister. Hey!
And here, another violent clash between Border Patrol agents and an anti-ICE protester who appeared to swat an agent's hand away while recording an immigration enforcement operation. These moves coming on the heels of an explosive week for ICE. Their aggressive tactics only seem to be escalating. Last week, tensions between ICE and protesters erupted when a woman in Minneapolis was shot and killed by an ICE agent. DHS officials claimed the shooting was self-defense. Despite the nationwide scrutiny, ICE doesn't appear to be slowing down, raising questions by some police use of force experts whether the tactics of agents in handling both suspects and activists are inflaming an already volatile situation.
If they conduct violent activities against law enforcement, if they impede our operations, that's a crime, and we will hold them accountable to those consequences.
Social media has been flooded with an onslaught of videos showcasing the rising tensions between ICE and protesters in Minneapolis. The killing of Renee Good wasn't the start of these aggressive tactics. It was more of a tipping point. In August of 2025, Oregon state officials released a video of 2 federal officers slamming a protester to the ground outside an ICE facility. DHS says it was a targeted arrest of a dangerous rioter who had previously assaulted law enforcement. In September, officers shot pepper balls from the rooftop of an ICE facility down at a protest in Illinois, hitting a pastor. DHS released a statement saying that the agitators ignored verbal warnings and were impeding operations by blocking an ICE vehicle from leaving the facility, a claim the pastor has denied. About a month later, an officer repeatedly strikes a person in the head during an arrest. DHS said a hostile crowd surrounded agents, verbally abusing them and spitting on them. Pepper spray was deployed to deter the agitator and disperse the crowd. It is a crime to interfere with the actions of immigration agents, and efforts to block their work have been documented on video. But police experts say that when possible, de-escalation is always preferred.
Making an arrest in a large crowd can sometimes be problematic, as opposed to identifying that person and maybe making an arrest later on when you're not enraging the rest of the crowd. When emotions are high, rational thinking is low. And so sometimes you have to really slow things down, take a step back, communicate.
Thanks, Caroline.
Instigating situations all across the country like that, just like that, everywhere you see them, they will instigate you to fight back so they can detain you. They will detain you anyway, but if you fight back, they will detain you faster.
I was choking.
The agent just pulls me in. He just puts me in a chokehold. I couldn't breathe. I told him I was a U.S. citizen, that I was 16. My name is Arnoldo Asan. Me and my dad were abused by federal agents. We were choked, we were kicked.
I was going to school.
We were driving to McDonald's, having a normal morning, until a car stopped us.
They started hitting the car 3 times.
They started trying to break our windows. They pointed the gun at us. I remember that I was just standing in the corner, seeing how my dad was getting kicked and everything. Honestly, I feel like I was about to pass out. I feel like I was seeing the light. They told me that we were criminals and stuff. They took my phone with them and they ended up selling it in a machine. I was thinking about what's gonna happen to my dad. He was deported. Every day I just think of him. I wanna be just like my dad. He's my role model. I hope God keeps him safe wherever he is. But you gotta realize that hardworking people and everything are going in. People that have families. I don't want no one else to go through this. And I want people to open their eyes about what's really going on. I don't think nobody's safe anymore.
These people are ripping children away from their parents to deport their parents right in front of them, based on a non-judicial warrant, an administrative warrant signed by the next fattest guy in the car. Thank God. they're getting. Why? Why is this good?
The mayor telling ICE to get the F out of the city.
Sure, you know, Mayor Fry seems to, again, Matt, we've said this many times, choose illegal aliens and criminal illegal aliens over the American citizens in his city. Let me say that again. He chooses criminal aliens, aliens that would harm children, kill, rape, and maim American citizens. He chooses them over his own citizens.
Yeah, not when you're going after citizens. What is this guy even talking about? The leader of the Gestapo that just posed for Nazi memorabilia type photographs in his personal trench coat that he had custom made. What a Nazi. Oh my God.
Out of Minnesota.
No plans to pull out of Minnesota.
How would you describe what you were seeing on the ground there? Would you describe it as an insurrection, and do you believe the president should invoke the Insurrection Act?
I describe it as violent and a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department and different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that. My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets.
You said you discussed the Insurrection Act with the president. Did you recommend that?
No, we just discussed it, that it was one of the options that he had constitutionally, and we talked about the fact that we're going to continue our operations in Minneapolis and have the resources that we need to get the job done. President Trump is so strong at taking action and making sure he's in every single state following through on his commitments to every single citizen.
Did the president say what his final straw would be to invoke the Insurrection Act if he did?
No, this president uses all the information and intelligence that he can get. That's why he calls me, he calls Pete, he calls local law enforcement. He talks to those individuals and agents as well that are involved that he knows well. This president makes fully informed decisions and utilizes his authorities when it's appropriate.
Do you think that there needs to be an Insurrection Act invoked?
Oh, I think that the president has that opportunity in the future. It's his constitutional right, and it's up to him if he wants to utilize it.
Do you think he's likely to do it?
I don't know.
Preliminary information indicates that there was a struggle with a federal agent in front of the resident. During the struggle, the federal agent discharged his weapon, striking one adult male. The adult male then retreated inside of the residence, where he remained inside and refused to come out. Eventually, federal agents made entry into the residence, and the individual was brought to an ambulance where he has been transported to the hospital. There's a crowd gathered in the area, and we have called for mutual aid from the Minnesota State Patrol and Hennepin County Sheriff. The crowd is engaging in unlawful acts. They have thrown fireworks at police officers, and at multiple times, gas has been deployed.
We have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos. It's certainly not creating safety when a huge percentage of the shootings that have taken place so far this year in Minneapolis have been by ICE. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. And I have seen thousands of people throughout our city peacefully protesting. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you.
Yeah, no, he's planning on coming. He's planning on it. Definitely planning on it. Remember how he joked about all kinds of stuff? Joked about all kinds of stuff. Remember everything he joked about? He actually did. Okay? Everything he's ever joked about, he's actually done. It's never a joke. He's not kidding. They're going to. He's going to enact the Insurrection Act on the citizens of Minnesota, and he's going to try as hard as he can to go to other cities and do it as well. It's definitely going to happen. Yeah, of course not, because they're going to start going door to door to check your papers, just like the Gestapo. We need to do something about these Nazi thugs that wear masks, come in on administrative warrants, and just throw your family in the back of a truck. What?
600 police officers that we have are charged on any given day with investigating crime, stopping homicides from taking place, preventing carjackings. That's the work of a police officer in a city. Meanwhile, we have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos. This is not the path that we should be on right now in America. Thankfully, there's another path. And I want to talk to everybody who's out there, even people who aren't living in Minneapolis right now. Maybe you just put your kids to bed. Maybe you're cleaning up the dishes. I'm sure you love your family. There's no doubt in my mind that you love your town. Imagine if that city or that town was suddenly invaded by thousands of federal agents that do not share the values that you hold dear. Imagine if your daily routines were disrupted. The local cafe that you eat at was shut down because they're scared that their own family might get torn apart. Imagine if schools shut down and suddenly parents got to figure out what to do for daycare. This is not creating safety. It's certainly not creating safety when a huge percentage of the shootings that have taken place so far this year in Minneapolis have been by ICE. So let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home.
That's great. That's a great idea. Yeah. All the violent ones go home. Except when ICE is the violent perpetrator in most of these cases. I mean, I've got videos on videos of them actively throwing people to the ground and hurting them. These are not the actions of a government that expects an election, okay? I hope you realize that they do not expect an election. There's no, for all you people saying, wait till the midterms, that ain't soon enough, okay? Look at what they're doing. Pulling teenagers off the street and manhandling them, breaking their bones, throwing them on the concrete, shooting women in the head when they're not blocking traffic, getting different instructions from different officers who are talking about, leave, get out of here. No, get the F out of your car. Get out of your car right now. Get out of your car. And then they come up and yank on the handle, or they stop a guy that's celebrating New Year's Eve, just like plenty of cops probably do, shooting guns in the air, kill that guy. I mean, what more do you need? What more evidence do you need that these people, they're literally coming door to door to check for your paperwork under non-judicial warrants? Do you understand that that's illegal? Do you understand that that's illegal? That is illegal. A non-judicial warrant is not allowed. You're not allowed to do that. No. You need a judicial warrant signed by a judge, okay, to enter somebody's home. And take them anywhere, and you're not allowed to rip them apart while you're doing it. You're not supposed to do that even if they are doing something illegal. So all you chud boomers or whatever, whoever you are in the comments that wants to come out here and say, oh, they have the legal right to do this because the government said so. The government says a lot of things. So what? That doesn't make them right. That doesn't mean you should do this. The Democratic Party of each one of these states should call on the police departments of those cities to stop ICE, but they won't. They won't do it because they don't care. Because the Democrats are scared, spineless little turds. And that just emboldens the Republicans even more to think that what they're doing is okay and they can just keep doing it. They don't care, okay? And most of your MAGA hog voters that are sitting in suburbia aren't going to care either because it's not going to come to their door right away, okay? So for all you people that want to call me and tell me, oh, no, you can't say this is Gestapo because they haven't come to your door yet. Get real. Get real. Get your fucking head out of your ass. What's wrong with you? Because they haven't come to my door yet? Are you stupid? So what? That doesn't matter. They're still doing it. He's not going to send the Gestapo to rich neighborhoods right away to arrest their, whoever, their lawn care service or whatever they're going to try and arrest, which they've done before, by the way, and you guys said nothing, but they're going to keep going. They're going to send in to Minneapolis first because of that video that came out from Nick, what's his name, about some fraud that got debunked almost immediately. They found out that place operates from 2 to 10 p.m. because it caters to families whose parents work late. And also, the windows are blacked out because they have children in there. That's a security policy. Are you out of your mind? Would you want people looking in at your kids? Are you crazy? 3, you didn't get to go in because you are a grown man. You are a grown adult man. What is wrong with you? Why on earth would you ever be let in? But the MAGA hogs don't give a shit. They don't care. They hear immigrants, fraud, Tim Walz, Democrat, and they just jump on the bandwagon. They don't give a damn at all. They're just like, yeah, no, we got to get them all out. And they see stuff. They see even American citizens who have been here for years get hauled off, and they still say, I don't care. They see people get blinded. A kid got blinded. I have video of a kid getting blinded by an ICE officer just for protesting. They threw him on the ground. They shot him in the eye, burst his cornea or whatever. He'll never see again. I mean, how can you look at any of these actions and say, oh, yeah, no, they all deserved it? It's amazing the mental gymnastics these people will go to talk about how everybody else deserves this. And the backlash that they're receiving from doing these actions is actually the wrong thing to do. That's actually the real oppression. You saying that I can't come to your door and bust it down with a non-judicial warrant and then haul your father and mother off right in front of you and leave you, a child, to fend for yourself and figure it out. Great, because that's what they want. They don't care. They hope they do, because then they get to abduct those kids too and send them off to wherever. They don't care. They don't care, and they never will. Nobody is coming to save us unless we save ourselves. We need to mobilize and stick together as a community. Join your local democratic socialist movement or, any movement. Stay together, okay? You cannot let them tear us apart like this, okay? Because that's how they win. That's how the Gestapo wins, and that's how they keep the regime nice and tight. The Democrats are not going to say anything, okay? Because they're scared. They're scared, and also they're being paid. They don't care. Okay, so the regime is just going to keep doing whatever it wants, okay, unless you get up and say something. Do something.